Hello there. Thought I'd do this review of Werewolf Classics, that being Werewolf in London. Can we write me on the name there? Yeah, Werewolf in London. Shot in 1935. We're going to go with Werewolf in London. Because this is a bit where I'm wondering whether this is the one where American Werewolf in London, technically speaking, was the remake. Because it is very similarities. You've got a guy, right? And the only difference is he doesn't have a mate or anything like that, like the David Character character in American Werewolf in London. But he goes in a field and he's looking for these buses and things on the way. Long but old, he gets attacked by a werewolf. Yeah, it's a typical old 30s werewolf films where the guy looked more like a figging hamster than a werewolf. You know, it's that era, different time, different era. And like I say, he gets attacked by a werewolf, and it's based on the olden times. It's like typical of the Universal monster films, and he changes here and there. He does have a woman on the way, his dear friend, and it's based on, like I say, the Victorian times, and there's bits where he's changing and he's attacking women, strangling them. He was there when you see the werewolf and he jump out and they pretend to strangle a woman. And I thought, oh no, it wasn't that graphic, make it sound more gruesome than it is. It's your typical werewolf films where the guy's running around, looks like a figging hamster, fur on his snout, fur on his face, and he's there strangling some poor woman. That's what they were in the mirrors, they got to die pretending to strangle someone. But, like I say, it's a different era and it's a different time. You've got the bits, like I say, where the guy is changing into the werewolf, and you've got it, the lap dissolves. In them days, it was the lap dissolves where the guy sat there, the damn man paused the camera, they put fake fur on the guy's face, try on filming, put a bit more fake fur on the face, paused the camera, put a bit more fake fur on the face, and then they put fake fangs in his mouth, and then they called it a day. And that's how they did it back then. It's bitty bimmy and it's bitty thingy, but in that era, that's how they did special effects. You know what I mean? That's how they did makeup in the classic old Universal werewolf film eras. The classic old Universal werewolf films. I do actually like a bit in it though. There's a bit where another guy comes in it halfway through the film. Lo and behold, he's a werewolf. He's a werewolf, and he has a pan like a bus, a special bus, right? And the pan can actually stop you from basically turning into a werewolf. It can actually stop you from turning into a werewolf, right? This pan, and I thought that's clever. That's unique. I've never seen that. There's some noise downstairs. I've never seen that in any werewolf film towns before. No, before I've never seen any. I've never actually seen that in any werewolf film before, where it's a pan what can stop you from turning into a werewolf. I mean, I thought that's pretty clever. Never seen it done before. So yeah, it's attacking people on the way. There's a funny bit in it where the maid's looking for a peephole because she has a feeling that the guy, is turning into a werewolf. And long but old, you do actually see him. You do actually see him howling and going like a werewolf. It's your typical old Universal werewolf films, which I like. I like. And he's attacking people and he's strangling people, and there's another guy, like I say, who's also been scratched. But there's a good scene in it where him and the guy's fighting, he's turning into a werewolf, the other one's turning into a werewolf, and I like it. Again, it's typical, it's black and white, it's gothic, it's your old Universal monster films, what's like common in that era. Whether it be Ben Bedosi as Dracula or Garoff as Frankenstein, and there you got it, Werewolf of London from 1935. We're gonna go with it. So again, it's a guy, he gets scratched, turns into a werewolf, and he attacks people, and that's it. You get the piece, the stuff of what's going on, that women have been strangled and people have been strangled by the werewolf, and they go in, and he gets shot. At the end, he gets shot, which offers. You've got the famous lap dissolving again. Pause the time there, the film that died the bits and they remove fur off his face, pause the time there, remove a bit more. And that's how they, I could say that's how they did it in the old classic days of the old Universal monster films. But this is a bit different because when he's dying, you still see him as the werewolf, but he's speaking. He's actually speaking, saying farewell to his woman, saying, saying bye to her basically. But I thought that's different. I've never seen that done before. When a guy gets shot or, by a silver bullet, and you've got the epic scene where the guy makes his epic speech and he says his goodbyes and you've got a bit of sad music coming at the end. I've never seen that before. So again, for the classic old Universal werewolf film, yeah, that's quite different, and I would say it's quite unique. So then I'm not going to do this one that long because it's not really a lot to do about it. It's an old black and white classic monster film from the 1930s, 1935. Had to keep repeating, but yeah, it's a good one. It's classic. Again, if you're into classic monster films from that era, like The Wolfman, like Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, either the old Mummy films or movies like the one I just did. If you like that, check it out. If you can ever find it, it's called Werewolf of London. Again, set in that era. It's a good one. It's it's your classic one. It's black and white. It's dark, and it's cheaper. It's cheaper, and I like it. It's like I say, I like all werewolf films, not just the modern ones, but that era and all. And that's what I like about that. It's a different era, different time, So check it out for that because it's a classic and I like it that much. Why not? A 4-star rating. And the other guy, by the way, who's fighting with our main character, he gets killed and all. I do actually love the epic fight scene. I remember seeing an original art cover of this, right? Get it right. The werewolf in London, where you've got them both fighting. He's got the guy, the stuff of his neck, and the other guy's getting scratched on the face by the guy he's fighting with. But the fight scene ain't really that vicious as what it looks on the poster. They knock a few things over. And it's like I say, he's a scientist. Like most werewolf films, you do kind of feel sorry for the character. Yeah, he kills people, but again, it's not as violent. It's not like American Werewolf in London where you see Ned's getting bit off, or like the later werewolf films. It's black and white. It's classic. Check it out. If you're into, like I say, if you're into the old monster films, whether it be Mummies, whether it be Frankenstein, whether it be the old Dracula, which I reviewed, that's the one with Ben Bedolster. If you're into stuff like that and you like the old classic films, that's one to look for. Again, for people. An 8-star rating. Check it out into them. See you soon. Do more reviews on the way. If you like what you're watching, just press that button, put the bell, or leave me a nice comment, or even better, subscribe to me into them. See you later. Be smart, be safe. See you later.